My tutor was a 15-year-old from my class. I can't make that up. Giant disclaimer, this is not going to be an easy guide on how to get an A. If you put in C work, you're going to get a C. If you put in A work, you're going to get an A. So please know that this is not going to be a quick, easy guide on how to get an A in chemistry. Let's be real, most people do not take chemistry, general chemistry, because they love the subject or because they want to be a chemist. It's generally a starter intro class to a science-based major. So if you're going to school for pre-med, if you're going to school to be a nurse, this is a general course that most students have to take as a prerequisite. So with that being said, understand that the guide I'm going to give you is actually applicable to many subjects, but specifically for chemistry because so many people struggle with it, because it is not the easiest course, and because it's actually math just by another name. You will be able to use these concepts across the board. Number one, it is completely appropriate to ask your professor what the tests are going to be based on. So, will your tests be based on the textbook, or will it be based on the lectures? Will it be a combination of both? Is it 50-50? Is it 20-80? This is imperative so that you know what you need to be studying and what you need to be focusing on throughout the course, so that way you can be successful on the exams. This is not a course that's going to require papers. So you are solely working on exams, and you are working to get an A on those exams. You are going to want to read the required textbook or the required text before you get to class. So this is especially true if your professor is very forthright with the fact that your exam is going to be based on the textbook. You will get a syllabus at the beginning of the year that tells you what chapters are going to be covered on what days, and I recommend that you read those chapters, even if you skim through them and just get the highlighted information, read the bolded sections, and take notes on those sections, because that is going to help you, number one, study for the exam, and number two, be prepared for what's going to be discussed in class, and you will already have prepared questions before you walk in. At the end of the chapter, almost always, there are practice problems. Do the practice problems! Do them! Don't ignore them. These are going to most likely resemble problems that are going to be in your exam, and so if you can't do the practice problems at the end, you're not going to have some miraculous, coming of knowledge that you all of a sudden know how to do the problems on the test. Do the practice problems at the end of the text, and then you will know what you are looking for on the exam. Moving right along to number three, do as many practice problems as possible. So most likely your professor will give you a study guide, hopefully, for the exam and for the chapters that you're covering. And if they don't, ask for a study guide. Ask for practice problems that are going to relate or be identical closely to what you can expect on the exam. This is so key to being successful in general chemistry. Do the practice problems to the point where you can be given any problem similar to what you've been covering. And if you can do those practice problems, you're going to get an A on the exam. This is not rocket science. Do the practice problems. After you've done the practice problems, take them to your professor and ask them to grade it as if it's an exam. Even if it's just 10 problems that you think, yep, I got it, I have done them to the best of my ability, I think they're 100% correct, hand them over and ask them to be graded. If you do well in the practice problems, you're going to do well in the test. If you can't do the practice problems, you're gonna fail. It is so simple. Number four, take notes during your professor's lectures. One, this is going to help you stay awake. And two, this is going to help you prepare for your exam. So I suggest that you take notes in a way that makes sense to you, and I'm actually going to show you my notebook and what made sense for me, what helped me study, and this will aid you in preparing for the exam. Number two, you're going to want to make sure that you are asking questions in real time. Do not wait until the end of the lecture. Do not wait until the next class period. You want to actually ask questions in real time. Even if your professor might think this is a little bit rude, it's going to ensure that you understand the content as you go along. This is a subject, like a couple different science courses, that builds upon itself. So if you don't understand the first concept, you're certainly not going to understand the second concept. So make sure you're asking questions in real time. So what do you do with those notes? Number 5, review your notes 5 to 10 minutes a night, even if you are not preparing for an upcoming exam. And here's why. You want to keep that information at the forefront of your brain. And this is not going to impede on your social life. It is 5 to 10 minutes. It is not going to change your life. However, it will prepare you slowly for the exam. So when you go to actually study for your next upcoming exam, you won't be trying to remember information from 4-5 weeks ago. You will actually remember it as you go along because you've been reviewing. While you're reviewing your notes, take a red pen or red marker and put a giant check mark next to anything that you don't understand. If you do this nightly, you will ensure that you are on point the entire way through the course. Put that giant check mark, and then in the next class period, ask questions regarding where you put those check marks, what you don't understand. Number 6, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I want you to put your notes in an order that makes sense to you. So here are my notes, and I always made sure to clarify in my notes where the information actually came from. Did it come from the professor's lectures, or did it come from the textbook? And this will show a natural progression of your curriculum and will make sure that when you're studying, it makes natural sense. Number 7, find someone in your class who is better at this subject than you are and ask them to either study together or tutor you. This is helpful for a couple of reasons. 1, because you won't be paying for a tutor, and 2, they will already know exactly what's been covered in your class and how it has been delivered to you, so you will likely be on the same page when you go to study or when they go to actually help you understand the content. You're going to be in a similar mindset. My tutor was a 15-year-old from my class. I can't make that up. I got made fun of, but it's okay because she was really smart. She was actually a high schooler who was taking this chemistry course. I forget what that's called, but she was taking a college course to prepare for when she was actually going to go to school. She would already have credits recorded, and she was 15, so she was a sophomore in high school, and I was 26 at the time. So it doesn't matter. She was really smart and she really helped me, and by studying together, I definitely saw an improvement in my grades and in how well I understood what we were actually learning. Number 8, my professor often ended class early, and she would either allow us to leave if we wanted to or stay and work on practice problems or a study guide that she had given us. Always, always, always stay. Either team up with somebody in your class or just stay and work on them alone. Here's why. You have already allotted this time in your day to be at chemistry class. You serve nothing to lose by staying and everything to gain, because your professor is going to be there in order to answer questions in real time. And this means that you're not going to leave class sort of confused and not knowing, what to prepare for on the exam or how to actually do the problem. So stay and do the practice problems. Stay and work with your classmates. If you have to stay by yourself, your professor's not going to care. They'll stay with you. This is prime time to get help on what you don't understand. Number 9, utilize YouTube videos to help you understand concepts that you are still struggling with. There are going to be areas of this class that just for some reason, no matter how many times your professor explains it, no matter how many times your tutor or your friends explain it to you, it is just not going to make sense. And there are plenty of YouTube videos and other websites that can help you understand in maybe a different way, explain it in a different way, that you will finally go, aha, I got it. That is what I suggest that you do. Go on YouTube, never give up, be persistent, and find a way that makes sense to you. I will actually link below in the description box some websites and some videos that I used to help me along the way. Last but not least, number 10, have an A mindset. If you go into this class thinking, I'm just going to get the lowest grade possible to pass and that's all I care about, then that's what's going to happen. If you go in and say, I can't do science, I can't do math, which is exactly what I used to say. You're gonna get a C, you're gonna get a D. If you go in thinking, I'm gonna master this subject, I'm going to understand it through and through, and I'm going to get an A. That's exactly what you're gonna do. So you have to maintain that motivation. And even if you can't stay motivated, because motivation and determination are two different things. If you can't stay motivated, at least stay determined to get that A. Put in the work and you are going to get results. And finally, I always listen to a Cardi B song on my way to every exam, and I did get an A on every exam. Not that I want to flex here, but I was prouder of the A I got in chemistry than I was graduating with a bachelor's degree. So that should tell you something. Stay persistent, stay determined, stay motivated. You can do this. If you have any questions, please comment them down below. I will be happy to help. Please help one another in the comment section. If you think that you have an idea that I didn't mention here on how anybody can get an A in this course, please also comment it down below. Thank you for sticking with me through the end of this video. I appreciate you so much. Like and subscribe if you want to see me again. I hope that you do. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day. Good luck. Bye.